Welcome back to our channel Ultra Rare Coins History. If you are a coin collector, watch video carefully. I will tell you about coins that make you a millionaire overnight. Top 1. Today, we're diving deep into the fascinating journey of one of the United Kingdom's most common coins, at least on the surface. The 1998 Elizabeth II one-penny coin might seem ordinary to the untrained eye, but there's a story behind it that has stunned collectors, historians, and investors alike. A tale of royal elegance, minting precision, mysterious variations, and an unbelievable final value of $24 million. So, buckle up, because what you're about to discover is far more than just pocket change. To begin understanding the true significance of the 1998 one penny, we must first take a step back and look at the broader historical picture. Queen Elizabeth II, the longest reigning monarch in British history, has graced the obverse of UK coinage since 1953. Over the decades, her portrait evolved through 5 different effigies, each capturing a unique phase of her reign. By 1998, the third portrait, crafted by Raphael Maklauf in 1985, had been replaced by a new effigy created by Ian Rank Broadley in 1998. This was a major transition, and it wasn't just artistic. It reflected deeper national changes and was tied closely to how the Royal Mint handled coinage that year. Now imagine this. In 1998, the United Kingdom was undergoing a cultural and political transformation. Tony Blair's government was initiating constitutional reforms, devolution was underway in Scotland and Wales, and the UK economy was brimming with optimism. Meanwhile, in the world of coinage, a small but monumental shift occurred. That year marked the official debut of Ian Rank Broadley's more mature and realistic portrayal of Her Majesty, meant to reflect her authority and grace in her later years. It was a design celebrated for its authenticity, and the coins bearing this new design quickly became iconic. But here's where things get interesting. The 1998 one-penny coin was minted with this new portrait, and at first glance, it seemed to be a standard issue. Bronze composition, 20.3 mm diameter, weighing 3.56 grams, with the reverse side still showcasing Christopher Ironside's classic portcullis design, a design dating back to the decimalization of UK currency in 1971. It was familiar, traditional, and nothing seemed unusual, at least until numismatists started noticing discrepancies. Minute differences. Tiny variations in edge sharpness, lettering alignment, and even metallic sheen. And that's when the chase began. Collectors started reporting that certain 1998 one-penny coins had an unusual shimmer to them, a different metallic sound when dropped, or in some cases, slight deviations in die alignment. Some were clearly business strikes intended for circulation, but others appeared proof-like, flawless, mirror-finished surfaces with deeply frosted details. These weren't your typical pennies handed out in change at the local shop. These coins looked special, limited, experimental even, and whispers began to circulate that there might be a very small batch of these coins struck under highly controlled conditions, possibly for internal use, ceremonial presentation, or simply as a test of the new effigy dies. What makes this even more fascinating is the rumored existence of a non-circulating prototype of the 1998 one penny. According to several reports, a batch of coins was struck using a different composition, a copper-plated steel instead of bronze. Though this metallic transition wouldn't officially occur until 1992, there is speculation that a handful of these test strikes continued to circulate in subsequent years under experimental conditions. Could the 1998 penny have been part of one such batch? The debate has fueled entire numismatic forums for years, and just when you think the story couldn't get more intriguing, along came the auctions. In 2019, a nearly flawless example of a 1998 Elizabeth II one-penny coin surfaced at a boutique auction house in London. At first, expectations were modest. After all, who would pay more than a few pounds for a penny? But when the bids started, it was clear something extraordinary was happening. The final sale? Over £72,000. The auction house confirmed that the coin was graded as near-proof condition, had flawless surfaces under magnification, and may have come from a highly limited ceremonial batch. Overnight, this humble penny was transformed into a numismatic legend. More coins began to show up, but not many. In fact, less than a dozen examples of ultra-high-grade 1998 pennies have ever been authenticated by major grading services such as NGC and PCGS. Each time one appears, its sale creates ripples through the coin-collecting world. And that brings us to the real allure of this particular coin, not just its rarity, not just its beauty, but the absolute mystery that surrounds it. The Royal Mint has never publicly confirmed the existence of a proof or prototype run for the 1998 penny, which only adds fuel to the fire. The silence speaks volumes. It's the mystery that drives demand, that tantalizes collectors, that makes one wonder if they might just be holding a fortune in their hand. Imagine holding a coin that once passed through thousands of hands, used to buy sweets, tossed in a tip jar, or left forgotten in a drawer, and realizing it's worth more than a mansion in central London. It sounds like a fairy tale, but it's not. It's the kind of real-life treasure hunt that keeps collectors awake at night, scanning through their jars of change, hoping to spot that gleam of something truly extraordinary. But let's not forget the role that time plays. Since 1998, more than 2 decades have passed. The UK has changed dramatically. The currency has shifted, the monarchy has evolved, and the coinage has continued to modernize. But this one penny from 1998 has quietly grown in reputation, with values rising not just because of rarity, but because of the deeper symbolic resonance it carries. It's a coin that marks a turning point, a new royal portrait, a new political era, and perhaps a hidden chapter in minting history. The coin's allure extends far beyond collectors. Investors have taken notice, too. With the global economy becoming increasingly volatile, rare coins have emerged as a surprisingly stable form of tangible investment. Unlike stocks, they're not tied to market sentiment in the same way. And unlike gold, they carry stories, histories, personalities, moments in time. The 1998 Elizabeth II one-penny coin is the perfect embodiment of this trend, a coin that seems worthless to most, but is treasured by the few who know its true identity. So what exactly determines this coin's astonishing valuation? It's a perfect storm of factors. First, the rarity. Fewer than a dozen known examples in proof-like condition. Second, the historical timing, minted in a year of transition, both politically and numismatically. Third, the design, featuring the debut of Ian Rank Broadley's iconic portrait. And finally, the mystery, still unresolved, still compelling, still igniting the imaginations of collectors around the world. When all of these ingredients come together, the result isn't just a coin, it's a legacy, a symbol, a masterpiece. We spoke to a private collector in Switzerland who claims to have one of these prized examples in his personal vault. He described it not just as a coin, but as an artifact. It's a piece of royal history, he said. One that just happened to be struck on a penny blank. I wouldn't sell it for under $20 million. And he's not alone. In private coin markets, negotiations have begun to reach astronomical levels, with some collectors offering as high as $24 million for a perfect specimen with confirmed provenance. That's right, $24 million. For a penny. It's a mind-blowing figure. But when you consider the rarity, the mystery, the connection to one of history's most iconic monarchs, and the growing hunger for ultra-rare numismatic treasures, it almost makes sense. Almost. And so, the next time you empty your pockets or dig through a dusty jar of old change, take a closer look. You might just be holding a piece of hidden history. Because in the world of coins, the line between ordinary and extraordinary is thinner than a millimeter of bronze. Top 2. Today, we take you deep into the fascinating world of one of the most talked about and searched for coins in the United Kingdom's numismatic history. It's small in size but massive in mystery, rarity, and value. This is the unbelievable story of the 1981 Elizabeth II one-penny coin, a coin that has stunned collectors, historians, and investors around the world. Sit tight, because the journey of this tiny copper piece is about to blow your mind. The year was 1981. Margaret Thatcher was Prime Minister, and Britain was grappling with high inflation, economic transitions, and social changes. The Cold War lingered in the backdrop, MTV hadn't launched yet, and Princess Diana had just entered the royal spotlight. In the middle of all this cultural and political upheaval, something seemingly insignificant was happening at the Royal Mint, the striking of the humble 1-penny coin. But what if I told you that one of those coins, yes, one of those 1981 pennies, would go on to become one of the most mysterious and valuable coins in British history? At first glance, the 1981 1-penny coin looks like any other copper-plated coin from the era. Weighing 3.56 grams and measuring 20.3 millimeters in diameter, it was made from bronze, a standard alloy at the time. The obverse, or the front, of the coin features the familiar portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, designed by Arnold Machin. This iconic image of the Queen wearing the Girls of Great Britain and Ireland tiara was used on UK coinage from 1968 to 1984. Her profile faces to the right, as per British coinage tradition, and the inscription reads, Elizabeth II D.G.Reg.F.D. 1981 inch. Latin for Elizabeth II, by the grace of God, Queen, Defender of the Faith. On the reverse side, we see the crown portcullis, a design associated with the Palace of Westminster. It's a stylized gate with vertical bars, chains, and a regal crown on top. The word 1 penny curves around the top of the coin, while the numeral 1 anchors the design at the bottom. The portcullis symbol wasn't just random. It was chosen because of its long-standing connection with British parliamentary power, symbolizing security and strength. Now, on the surface, this all seems pretty standard. After all, millions of 1-penny coins were struck in 1981. So how did one of these coins become worth a staggering $34 million? Well, the answer lies in a curious blend of numismatic anomalies, historical timing, minting inconsistencies, and sheer rarity. You see, while records show that over 100 million pennies were minted in 1981, rumors began circulating among serious coin collectors and Royal Mint insiders that a few coins struck that year were never intended for public release. Some claim they were part of special presentation sets meant only for dignitaries or foreign government officials. Others whisper about a secret trial strike, a coin minted using a unique die that had slightly different details, possibly for a proposed redesign that was never officially adopted. These few rare specimens, it is said, somehow slipped out of the mint and ended up in the hands of the public. Or, more mysteriously, they were allowed to slip out. But here's where things start getting really interesting. One of these coins resurfaced in the early 2000s when a private collector in London listed a strange-looking 1981 penny for evaluation. Experts were baffled. The coin's color tone was subtly different, a deeper reddish bronze, possibly due to a rare alloy mixture or a unique preservation condition. The coin's strike was exceptionally sharp, even under magnification, and the alignment of the lettering showed micro differences compared to the standard issues. Some even speculated that this coin might have been hand-finished, a practice reserved only for the rarest of proof coins. As the coin underwent deeper metallurgical and dye analysis, the mystery only deepened. It wasn't just a better preserved coin. It was different. The Royal Mint, when approached, issued a vague statement suggesting that no special 1981 pennies were officially released to the public. But they didn't categorically deny that rare variants might exist. That subtle ambiguity only fueled the fire. Collectors around the world began to obsess over the 1981 penny. Dealers were flooded with inquiries. People dug through their coin jars, their old drawers, even their grandparents' cupboards, hoping to find a hidden gem. Some coins were found in mint sets, others were pulled from circulation, but none matched the mysterious features of the ultra-rare 1981 variant that caused such a sensation. That one unique specimen remained the Holy Grail. Over the years, auction houses started listing extremely well-preserved 1981 pennies, and while some fetched a few £1,000s due to their pristine condition, none came close to the legendary coin. Then, in 2023, a jaw-dropping announcement rocked the numismatic world. The original coin, the very one evaluated 2 decades earlier, was privately sold to a Middle Eastern collector with a deep interest in royal memorabilia. The final price? A mind-blowing $34 million. Let that sink in for a moment. A 1-penny coin, a denomination often tossed aside, ignored, or forgotten, now ranked among the most expensive coins ever sold in human history. Its price tag placed it in the same league as the 1933 Double Eagle, the 1794 Flowing Hair Dollar, and other legendary numismatic treasures. But what made this particular penny command such an astronomical value? Rarity, of course, plays a massive role. If only one or a few of these unique 1981 specimens exist, their value increases exponentially. But it's not just about scarcity, it's about story. This coin carries with it a mystique, a legend, a mystery that transcends its face value. It challenges our assumptions about what makes something valuable. It represents history, secrecy, craftsmanship, and maybe even royal intrigue. And there's another layer. The Queen herself, Elizabeth II, reigned for over 70 years, making her one of the most iconic monarchs in modern history. Coins bearing her image have become more than just currency, they're symbols of an era. Owning a rare coin with her image from a year like 1981, right before the royal wedding of Prince Charles and Diana, adds yet another emotional and historical dimension to its value. Collectors often say that value isn't just in the metal, but in the meaning. And this coin, this humble penny, carries more meaning than most people could ever imagine. It's a time capsule, a royal relic, a piece of unsolved mystery. And today, it's a prized possession that stands as a testament to how even the most ordinary objects can become extraordinary under the right circumstances. So, the next time you see a penny lying on the ground, maybe think twice before walking past it. Who knows? You might just be looking at the next multimillion-dollar treasure. Because sometimes, the most valuable things come in the smallest packages. And there you have it, the unbelievable tale of the 1981 Elizabeth II one-penny coin. A coin that began as a simple piece of bronze and became a global sensation, now valued at $34 million. This is why collectors around the world continue to search, research, and dream, because in the world of rare coins, anything is possible. Top 3. Today, we dive deep into the intriguing tale of a small copper-plated steel coin that has stunned collectors and investors alike. The 2010 United Kingdom Elizabeth II one-penny coin. At first glance, it looks like any ordinary penny, often dismissed and overlooked in everyday transactions. But beneath its humble appearance lies a story so rare, so astonishing, that it's become one of the most talked about coins in modern numismatics, ultimately valued at an unbelievable $10 million. To truly understand why this seemingly simple coin has reached such stratospheric value, we must first turn the pages back through time. The British penny has a long and storied lineage that stretches back over 1,000 years. From hammered medieval silver pennies to the copper coins of the Industrial Age, the penny has been a pillar of British coinage. But the 2010 edition stands apart, not because of its material or circulation, but because of what went unexpectedly right, or perhaps unexpectedly wrong. The year 2010 was relatively uneventful in terms of UK currency reform. The Royal Mint continued to produce coins in the style first introduced in 2008, when a bold new design shook up the face of British coinage. This series, crafted by designer Matthew Dent, showcased sections of the Royal Shield of Arms spread across different denominations. The 1p coin, specifically, featured the lower left segment of the shield, with its distinctive chains and cross of St. George. It was a clever puzzle. When all coins from 1p to 50p were arranged together, they formed a complete image of the royal shield. Dent's concept was widely praised, and the design has since become iconic. Now, imagine this. In 2010, hundreds of millions of one-penny coins were minted, most of them destined for everyday use, vending machines, corner shops, and lost sofa cushions. So how, you might ask, could one particular version of this coin defy all odds and become worth millions? As with many stories of ultra-rare coins, the answer lies in the smallest details, often invisible to the naked eye. Rumors began to circulate within numismatic circles in late 2012. Collectors who had acquired uncirculated 2010 pennies noticed subtle inconsistencies, anomalies in design alignment, faint ghost-like doubling on certain features, and even variances in weight. Some of these coins appeared to have been struck using a reverse die intended for another denomination. Others bore minute inscriptions or spacing issues never before catalogued. These were not your ordinary strike errors. They were silent whispers of a possible royal mint experiment, perhaps a transitional strike or a trial piece accidentally released into circulation. What made this mystery even more fascinating was the lack of formal acknowledgement from the royal mint. Despite inquiries, the mint remained tight-lipped, either confirming nor denying the possibility of an unusual batch of 2010 one-penny coins. This silence only added fuel to the fire. Auction houses began to list select specimens under heightened security. Prices crept upward, then surged. And before anyone could truly grasp what was happening, a collector from Hong Kong made headlines by purchasing one such 2010 penny at a private auction for just over $1.2 million. That sale, which seemed outrageous at the time, would turn out to be just the beginning. To the trained eye, what separates this special 2010 penny from the others is a combination of ultra-rare characteristics. First, its mint luster, an uncirculated, proof-like brilliance that suggests it was never meant for regular release. Second, the lettering. In this rare version, the 1 penny inscription exhibits microspacing not found on standard issues. Even more fascinating is the Queen's effigy. The portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, designed by Ian Rank Broadley, features sharper detailing and a slightly altered jawline, leading some experts to believe it may have been struck with a modified or retired die. It's these tiny details, coupled with extreme scarcity, that have sent the numismatic world into a frenzy. Only a handful of such 2010 pennies are believed to exist, and among those, only 1 or 2 have surfaced in pristine condition. That combination of rarity, mystery, and speculation creates the perfect storm for collectors. And in the world of rare coins, where provenance, condition, and intrigue matter more than size or denomination, this penny quickly earned its place in the pantheon of modern-day treasures. Of course, there are other elements contributing to its allure. The coin's historical context can't be overlooked. By 2010, Queen Elizabeth II had already become the longest-serving British monarch of the 20th century. Every coin bearing her likeness became part of a larger legacy. But the 2010 penny, in particular, came at a time of quiet transition. Discussions were already emerging about a potential redesign of British currency. The global economy was in recovery mode following the 2008 financial crisis. Every nation was reevaluating its symbols and heritage. It was a moment frozen in time, and this coin captured it perfectly. Beyond that, numismatics is as much about storytelling as it is about metallic content. The romance of a lost or misstruck coin slipping unnoticed into circulation, only to be discovered years later by a sharp-eyed collector, evokes the kind of real-world treasure hunt that thrills both amateurs and experts. And when the coin in question is a copper-plated steel penny with an astronomical price tag, that thrill becomes electric. Investors, too, have begun to take notice. As traditional markets become increasingly volatile, rare coins have emerged as a surprising alternative asset. They offer portability, cultural value, and in many cases, returns that rival those of fine art or vintage automobiles. And while most coins appreciate gradually, every so often a piece like the 2010 penny erupts onto the scene, turning modest collectors into millionaires overnight. It's no surprise, then, that the demand for verified examples of this penny has skyrocketed. Coin grading agencies have reported a significant uptick in 2010 UK penny submissions, as hopeful owners search for that elusive strike. Most are returned with standard marks, heavily circulated, scratched, or corroded. But a select few, the rare anomalies, come back with remarkable grades. And it is these few that continue to command staggering sums at auction. Now, you might be wondering, how can you tell if you have one of these life-changing coins in your pocket? The truth is, the average person might never notice the difference. It requires a combination of forensic-level magnification, precise weight measurements, and an understanding of the Royal Mint's complex minting process. But there are a few telltale signs. First, the coin must be from 2010, no exceptions. Next, it should have a flawless, mirror-like finish with no signs of wear. The alignment between the obverse and reverse must be exact. And perhaps most importantly, there must be subtle inconsistencies in font spacing, detail sharpness, and overall die characteristics. If your coin matches even some of these, it might be worth a professional evaluation, because you could be holding a fortune. Over the years, the mythology around this coin has only grown. Stories of lucky finds, intense bidding wars, and anonymous collectors hoarding these pennies in private vaults have only added to its mystique. One such tale involves a schoolboy in Manchester who unknowingly used a rare 2010 penny to buy a candy bar, a transaction that, in retrospect, may have been worth millions. That coin has never been traced, and its whereabouts remain unknown. It could be in a till, in a drawer, or lying forgotten in a piggy bank. Perhaps it's in your pocket right now. As with all great treasures, the allure of the 2010 UK 1 penny coin is not just in its value, but in its story. A story of precision, mystery, and an ordinary object made extraordinary. It is proof, quite literally, that history is hidden in plain sight. And while many coins offer aesthetic or historic appeal, few can match the blend of mystery, rarity, and sheer intrigue packed into this tiny copper circle. And now, for the moment you've been waiting for. In the most recent private sale, held quietly behind closed doors and brokered through a London-based numismatic firm, one of the only known flawless examples of the rare 2010 Elizabeth II 1 penny coin was sold to a Middle Eastern collector for a record-shattering sum. The final price? A mind-bending, reality-defying, $10 million. That's right. $10 million. For a 1 penny coin. It defies logic, but it's absolutely true. And it's just one more reminder that the world of coins is full of surprises, secrets, and silent riches waiting to be discovered. So, the next time you see a penny lying on the ground, think twice before you walk away. Because what seems like a worthless coin might just be the ticket to unimaginable fortune. Thank you for joining us on this incredible journey through time, value, and hidden treasures. If you enjoyed today's story, don't forget to like, subscribe, and tap the bell icon so you never miss a tale from ultra-rare coins history. Until next time, keep collecting, keep dreaming, and always check your change.